Well, hello there. Welcome to a soggy park. Any day's a good day as long as it's not raining for learning to fly, teaching our plane to fly. This is the plane we built recently. You watched it get built. Since you saw that, we added a couple of ailerons to it for adjustment purposes. They're held on with tape right now, but we will glue them in place once we get the airplane to fly the way we want it to. And we'll explain why we did two of them if we end up needing both of them. Otherwise, you can pretend we only have one. So the first thing to do is we're going to take a look at the airplane and make sure that it looks straight. This wing looks nice and flat. I don't see any up or down trailing edges to it. That one might be just a bit up, so it might turn a little bit to the left. The rudder looks like it might be off a little bit to the right. So we'll just give that a little bend like that to kind of straighten it out. Point it into the wind. We've already got the CG set. We'll just give it a little toss. And that is already a pretty nice glide straight out of the box. Possibly because of that little bit of wing work. But that's what we want to see. Ideally want the airplane to fly completely straight. And of course, you got to be careful because the wind might push it off a little bit. Let's throw it. Figure out which way the wind is. Yeah, it wants to turn to the left just a little bit on its own. We're going to let it do that. So now we'll give it a little bit of a catapult launch. These planes, not all planes, but these planes behave a little bit differently when they fly faster. So let's just see what happens. We'll make sure we're not pointed at anybody. We don't want to hit anybody. And it looped a little bit. Not too surprising given that we've got the CG right about here. As you move the CG back, that tendency becomes less, but it also pulled out of the dive nicely, which while we're doing this, the first few times is nice because it won't crash into the ground. And the wind is shifting around, so we've got some thermal activity. I'll try a little bit more vertical launch. Kind of doing little hoppy stuff. That's because it's stalling, and as it regains the speed, it kind of cycles through that. Again, that may be just CG's back a little bit. I'm going to give it just a teensy weensy bit of down elevator. Don't want to do it too much because the glide is so nice. And I'm also going to launch it a little less turn in it. Oh, there we go. Well, except for the fact that it's not turning, that was a nice recovery. So we just need to make it turn a little more, and we're very close already. That's a happy thought first thing in the morning. You do get to do some walking when you're training new airplanes. And yes, even in the Pacific Northwest, there are days when you can fly in the middle of November. And play soccer. And tennis. The secret is, if you want to fly, fly. We did coat this plane with a little bit of varnish, so I'm not too worried about it getting wet. If it was actually raining, probably wouldn't be here. And to adjust this, now we have a choice. We can give it the rudder. Rudder's very powerful, but let's give that a go. Just the weensiest bit of rudder. Just a little bit of rudder to the left. Boy, that didn't do much, did it? Too much and it'll spiral. So we kind of want to remember where it was so we can put it back if we overdo this. There we go. Now we may have to put a little bit of that up elevator back in, because the steeper the turn, the more the lift is pointed this way and not holding the plane up. So you need to give it a little bit up elevator, make more lift so more of it's pointed up. That might be enough. Let's give it one more go. Just a teensy bit up. And we're going to launch it a little more vertically. Okay, let it flop out of the loop on top. Oh, oh, very nice. See if it spirals. Yeah, it's tightening up a little bit. So, two ways to address the spiral. One is, they say it's that tight a turn, it can't maintain the lift. So give it a little more up elevator. That's going to make it a little loopier. But it might be alright, so let's give that a go. There's that loopiness that I mentioned. Yeah, I think it's just got... That time it didn't tighten up so much, so we know the elevator fixed it, but that's too tight a turn. I'm going to take a little bit of that rudder back out. Just a little bit. I'm going to leave the elevator alone. And up the daisies. A little bit of a hop. Yeah, that's better. Not giving this big power yet. This plane's quite light, so we don't need a lot of power. Yeah, we're in the middle of a mud puddle. So, here we have a question. Now, arced and kind of hopped, and so I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to try a little more vertically. And it did do the stall thing and lost a lot of altitude. So this is where I start thinking about bringing the CG back a little bit. Because the more the CG is back, the less tendency it has to loop, but the less it'll pull out of one of those things. So if it gets upset and dives, it may not come out of it, but it may not do the hoppy bit. Try once more. I'm gonna take just a smidge of up elevator out of it, and then we'll think about moving the CG. Figure out which way the wind's coming from. Pretty calm, actually. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to move the CG back just a smidge. So the way I like to do that is I'll just take a thumbnail chunk off of it. You don't want to go too far. Since it's calm out here, we can do a finger check on it. I'll go a little bit more than that. Why? Because I have flown these airplanes before. That's why we marked them. Go up there. That's probably a little bit too much. That went behind the aft mark, I think. So that's kind of a radical change. Anytime you move the CG back, it's going to make it want to fly more slowly for the same amount of up elevator. I'm going to take just a bit of that up elevator back out of it. Unstable doesn't mean not loopy. Oh, much straighter. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Much nicer. Very nice glide. Look at that. I don't think I could beat that. A little bit stally, but that's okay. Yeah. Like that. Let's see if we can get a little more power on that one. I'm not gonna change a thing. It is a danger on a wet day like this, is that the plane starts to get damp, the CG will change and you'll fight it all day long. So if your plane's not varnished and the grass is like really, really wet, wait for a better day. Although, for November, it's awfully nice. All right, one more power, here we go. Up, there we go. Oh, look at that. Straight off the board. Didn't even need the ailerons. How about that? Well, I think we taught this one how to fly today. That didn't take very long. Good student. Well, we hope you enjoy building one of these. I hope you enjoy flying one of these. It's just hard to beat it for just pure beauty in the sky. Simple, gorgeous. Come back to the WhistlePig workshop any old time if you want to see this lesson again. And hope you enjoy your holidays. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.